Hello, Disney friends. I'm Sam from Sam's Disney Diary. That is the blue-haired blogger himself, Greg Gatley. He'll be there in just a minute. What happened there? I see you, but you're not there.
You know what, Sam? My God, you just keep going.
I'm going to keep going. June the 11th, 2025. There is so much going on this week. I have no idea how we are going to cover everything. There is lots happening. Greg, what is new this week?
My friend, we got so much to cover, and look, there I am. I knew I'd show up. Look with a little green dot in my face. We're going to cover the little green dot in my face. We got Muppets Vision 3D is now officially closed. The courtyard is officially closed. But hey, man, I got to see the last show ever for guests. So
that's pretty cool. We're going to talk about that for sure.
We are going to talk about that. And then, of course, today, as we all know, walls are up all in front of Muppets Courtyard, greeting the new residents of Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully are now outside. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go through the best quotes of all time from Muppet Vision 3D. Sam,
that's right.
Great stuff looked up. We're going to hop over to Magic Kingdom. We're going to talk about the Emporium. We got Cool Kids Summer early entry with tons of characters. Everybody knows I love me some characters. Oh, it was got to hug on some Mickey Mouse. I was a happy man. And then today I got to hug on Tigger. It's been a good week for me, Sam. Haven't been home, but it's been a good week. Hall of Presidents. The lobby is reopened. We're going to go over to Epcot. We're going to talk a lot about Test Track. The walls are down. Guest rides may be starting very soon. We have stuff. We did the WDW annual pass holder Dopey meet and greet. I can't wait to talk about him. He looks a little emo, but that's just that guy, I guess. Then we're gonna go Disneyland. Lots of changes happening at
Disneyland, and I'm gonna dig deep.
And then we're going to go over to Universal. We're going to talk Wicked. We're going to talk Megan 2.0. We're going to talk Epic. We're going to talk popcorn buckets. And then, of course, Sam, as always, we shall end it with our favorite, the Muppet 70th Anniversary Magnet Collection.
I don't know what this Universal stuff is you keep talking about. All that and more coming up next. Stick with us. Hello, Michigan. Hello, Lily. Thanks for being out there again. As always, so much to talk about this week, Greg. I think we just got to jump in because we're never going to get through all this stuff. There's so much happening. And it starts with goodbye to an old friend, Muppet Vision 3D.
Did it start with the cat hair that's like on my microphone? Like my daughter's cat rubs against the microphone, and I literally have this tickling of a.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, man.
Dude,
anyway,
the image shared here, the one thing that jumped out to me was the 45-minute wait for Muppet Vision, but it was even a longer wait than that because you were there, final day, had it circled on the calendar, knew what was happening. You got there early, and I want to hear what it was like to be there because you shared some pictures. I'm sure that the pictures don't tell the whole story. Let us all know how that was the last day of Muppet Vision.
Yeah, so I mean, the great thing about that picture is it's 45-minute wait at 9 p.m. at nighttime. If you look at the lightning lane clock over there, it's like 5:09. That's
Yes. Yes.
that is a 45-minute wait. By the time it was done, I think it had maxed out at like 90 minutes. You see the wristband right there. We got
Yes,
in
you're wearing a wristband that
early.
says 493. And I'm
Yeah.
only saying that because those listening to the podcast, we appreciate you being there. Lots of visuals this week, as always, but thanks for listening. Your wristband says 493. When did you get this, and what does that
Yeah, so the
signify?
theater holds 568 people, I believe. That's how many wristbands they were giving out. You
Okay.
had to be in the park at rope drop, and they had this little line set up. And I'm glad that we have friends down here that help us out. And they yelled at me to go get in line real quick, and I had no clue what I was getting in line for. And next thing you know, I have a wristband on my wrist, and then the cast member was like, "Yeah, this is for the final show for guests of Muppet Vision 3D. You must have the wristband to see the final show." And what
A
they were going
numbered
to do is
wristband to
they
see
were
the
going to keep the queue open until 10 p.m., which is when the park closed that day.
show, right?
And then at 10 p.m., they were going to allow people with wristbands to line up, and they would go through the whole queue and go through everybody who was waiting in line from that 10 p.m. closing time. And then they would wait until they all went through. And then we would get in there, and 568 of us or whatever would go in and be the final guest to see the Muppets Vision 3D.
So you were in the final show. What time? How long was the line at 10 p.m.? And were you waiting for a
We
while?
got in at 10. I'm going to say we got in at about 10:40 p.m. So
Okay, so they
that's
ran
two
3
showings.
shows, 2 or
Yeah,
3 shows they ran before you
right.
got in there. Okay,
So we got in there, and when we got in there, it was really nice because they got everybody in there. And they said, "Listen, we're going to run the full pre-show for everybody. So we're going to start it over. Everybody who's in here is going to see the final pre-show." In
very cool.
there were many cast members, many old members who had worked at that attraction for many years, and the daughter of Jim Henson
Yes.
herself was the last person allowed into Muppet Vision 3D, and she sat next to me on that last show.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. It was so the whole day, look, it started early. By the time I got in there,
And
look,
that's the images we're looking at. This is early.
the part this is 8 o'clock. This is 8:30 a.m.
Wow.
So it just got more and more packed. People showed up. People wanted to say their goodbyes. People wanted to just be part of this final celebration. Now,
Right.
the Muppets were not they were not filling in this place during that time. This was people who had memories, who wanted to be there just to soak in all the other Muppet fans. This was hardcore people. This was just people. There was a lot of fun, but then there was a lot of people who would start singing randomly around the Miss Piggy fountain. People were just trying to bond with each other. They were handing out bracelets. There was a vibe in that park that was really fun to be around.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Sam, and I'm going to tell a quick small story about this.
Sure.
Even my wife and I, we have our own Muppets Vision 3D story, and we have our
Yes.
Muppets Courtyard story 25 years ago. Literally, the first Disney thing her and I ever bonded over was she had a sign when she went there in high school. I had a sign when I went there right out of high school, and they both were the Waka Waka This Way Fozzie Bear Street sign that was next to Miss Piggy Fountain.
Sure.
And so that was our first connection to Disney. So
Rules
I
can be
wanted to be over there and just kind of enjoy that and think of the memories and the great times we had for the Muppets. And it was emotional. It was a lot of grown adults just, letting off steam and having a great time.
Yep. Love that. And by the way, hi Tina. Good to see you. Glad you can
Oh,
make it.
I do
Hey,
want to
Yens,
say
guys.
this. They did Disney themselves did an excellent job of getting people in and out of there. They had queues set up for the press penny machine. They had queues set up for the photo pass. They had the line set up. You can see the end of the line sign that they pulled out.
Yeah, that looks like they pulled it out of storage. You and I commented that. It was probably covered in dust.
Yeah. So I think Disney did a better job with this ride closing than of any other ride closing they've ever done.
But you're right. Those things like the penny press and the picture at the Miss Piggy fountain where it's a magic shot and Kermit is sitting next to you.
Yep.
Those are the things that are going to be gone. I mean, I don't know if the penny press shows up somewhere else, but I'm going to say
No, that penny
probably
press
not.
is just like the Country Bears. It is gone. And they had two of them set up across Grand Avenue. And the line started off with like 2 or 3 people when I got there at 8 a.m. By the time I left at 12 to go home for a little bit and relax, that line was like looped back and forth 3 or 4 times with probably 200 or 300 people in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the Jim
Charles,
Henson's daughter
welcome
being
in.
last.
Barbara, welcome in.
Barbara,
Thank you so
Charles.
much, Tina, Lily.
Absolutely. Thanks all of you guys for joining us. There was a lot going on, Greg. It's Rat Pizza. Tell me about the queue here. This is an image of, this isn't even the extended queue. This is the area.
This is the last show queue right there.
That's the last show queue. So they put you on the side. You were lined up towards the exit.
Yep.
Okay.
So
You're
they had at one
at
point
the roller coaster that'll be there someday.
Right. So it's and that back gate was open for overflow stroller parking. So you could go into the back area there, and they were very adamant, do not take a picture back here. So I have no pictures from back there. I follow the rules.
Yeah.
The actual queue for Muppets went through its own queue system, and then it ended up going back into Guardians, a Rise of the it stretched all the way to, it was like reverse Rise of the Resistance. So you know how Rise of the Resistance goes all the way to Muppet Vision 3D? This one was Muppet Vision 3D, literally went to the entrance of Rise of the Resistance. That's how long that queue was. And they were getting through it, man. It was impressive.
Yeah, this was a one-day thing. There's some images from that last pre-show that you were in. All good. I mean, this is great stuff.
Yeah, it was, this was the last, that's it. There's your, everybody in the last show. Everybody's trying to get pictures. I just put this up on YouTube. I did film this pre-show for YouTube. I just put it up, and you can hear the people singing along. They're
that
clapping,
would be the coolest part.
They're talking over and just hearing 600 other Muppet fans go through the whole every line.
That's complete contrast to my pre-show video, which is an empty theater with a lot. You can see all of the different, but that's just like, this is cool. But being there with 600 other fans that are just crazy for the Muppets, it's just cool as can be.
It certainly was. And there you go, 10:15, and we're about to go inside to go see the Muppets. And there's Gonzo hanging off of it.
I love that clock,
and he's still there today. He's still there today.
He's still there today, but it's only been a couple of days. But let's pay a little tribute here. And by the way, thanks everybody for joining. We want to pay tribute. I put this list together. This is my top 10 Muppet Vision 3D quotes. I want to hear what your top quotes are, but this is one of those things where before we got a ton of news this week, I went ahead and pulled it together. So Greg, I'm going to see if you agree with me or not. Holly, I want to know if you agree with me or not, but let's start with number 10. You're right. Needs more sugar. Some of these quotes, you can just see what's happening, right? Fuzzy Bear.
Sam, I feel like you're doing an injustice to this. I think you need to be doing this in the voices.
Fuzzy, this is terrible. All right, then the next one you and I are going to have to split. Oh, no, I can do this one. Max. Yeah, Debbie was sick, so the union sent me.
Yeah, that's a great
Better?
gag.
I love that gag, the Debbie, Dinah, and Max. It's the best. All right, let's go. Number 8. This is 2 together. Oh, doesn't that look beautiful?
Yeah, too bad they're going to spoil it with a pig. See, we got this. By the way,
every Statler and Waldorf quote, everything they say could be on this list as one of the quotes.
Yeah,
all right, number 7. I mean, since he's going out, he could forever.
Yeah.
Bean Bunny's going out for sandwiches. The forever is really the quote. And when you say it like that, everybody knows where that's coming from. So
yep,
that's for sure. Of course, famous. You got a minute and a half.
I see on that one, you needed to set that one up. You should have had the Sam Eagle right in the beginning of it. Yeah, see?
Hey,
there you go.
I just wanted to talk about it. Statler, we entered a contest.
Yeah, we lost.
I gotta love that. Scooter to Rizzo. Rizzo, you're disgusting.
It's a gift.
That is the best. We're doing a test of deodorant strength. Everybody get together.
Yep.
The best. Hey, check out the guy in the goofy mask.
That's no mask.
Oops, sorry, lady. Oh, got to finish that one on the left. Rat Schmat, besides they're tourists, what do they know? It's good. All right, number
They're
one. I'm going to let you read this
like
one.
that. I got the biggest reaction in the queue.
Because it's awesome. Rat Schmat. I got Donald Duck back here.
Yeah, I'm with you, Charles. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, with you. We're going to talk to that one in a second. I got Donald Duck back here, which, by the way, samsdisneydirect.com 27 quotes because that's all I had. My favorite, Gonzo. Will you stop this foolishness? Sam the Eagle. Response. What foolishness would you like to see?
Yeah.
If there's one I missed, let me know. But Tina, I want to throw this one out there because this is my honorable mention, which is, yeah, I wish they'd move it to Pittsburgh because I absolutely wish they'd move it to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Can you get me a sandwich?
Yeah.
It's going out forever. It's all part of that.
Forever? Yeah. I mean, look, I keep it real with Dan. I thought the thought of losing something in order just to get something new kind of sucks. It does, but I mean, the pain is still too new to try and
let's give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm not going to miss, which, by the way, I love some of these images. You'll find lots of those out there. Rizzo's, we still don't know what's going to come in here, but I can tell you one thing, Greg. I'm not going to miss the pizza.
Sam, no, look, being from the Northeast, I think between us, we understand pizza. This was not pizza.
It was not.
This is like cafeteria pizza that you get in school in middle school.
Agree. Now, as much as I won't miss the pizza, I will miss going upstairs to the wedding reception that was upstairs there, which I just posted a video over at Sam's Disney Diary.
Sure. I mean, look, man, you and I,
it was cool.
Both have had media events in that space.
Yes.
And we have memories up there. Look,
absolutely.
When Fantasmic came back, we got to do the interviews up there. We got to meet Ashley Eckstein was part of it. We got to meet the WDW ambassadors. We got to talk to the show creators and producers. And then we did again. We came back.
Rise of Resistance event was up there.
Yeah, Jollywood Nights was up there. Like, this is space that is hollow to us for a different reason other than it just being that space
that's not going away, and we just don't know what it's going to become. So I'm going to go back to an image that I shared when this first started.
They bring back Pizza Planet. I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Although there was no pizza in Monsters Inc., was there? I hope not. This image is the Muppets Courtyard, and what I'm doing is overlaying the original concept art that we got for Monsters Inc. This is what you and I went through not that long ago on this show, talking about some of the differences, the fact that the Studio One store was gone. We can clearly see Harryhausen's. We know that the Monsters coaster is in what's parking lot today. We couldn't tell what the Muppet Vision building would become. But all of this is what we had to go on. And Greg, today, I believe it was today, or was it yesterday, you visited the site.
It was this morning. This was at 8:15 a.m. this morning, my friend.
We see the walls are up. There's an image of concept art. Mike and Sully. Now, are Mike and Sully meeting here? Is that what you mentioned?
No. No.
All right. I thought that maybe they were. So,
how awesome would that be? Man, if they moved in and started doing a character meet and greet, all the Muppet fans would be like with pitchforks and burning embers and like, wow, that would be, now I need to see that.
All right, so here's what I wanted to talk about because this is where it gets cool. This is the concept art from the D23 Ultimate Disney Fan Event. Right. Well, actually, it wasn't from then. It was later because they didn't tell us that Monsters, Inc. was coming to Muppet Vision at the expo because they didn't want everybody revolting. They told us after the fact. They just showed us concept art.
Right, we knew that Monsters, Inc. land was coming and we knew the coaster was coming.
Yes. So what I'm about to do is overlay the concept art that Greg took a picture of this morning. And one interesting thing you'll notice in my image, it doesn't go to the top of the screen because in the new concept art, they've actually moved the coaster further into the parking lot and created some green space. So let me go ahead and show that right over top of here. There's lots of subtle things that changed, but some of the biggest things that changed were the addition of that green space between the existing buildings, Harryhausen's, which is today Mama Melrose. There's a lot of space between it and the new coaster.
There's
They've
a
changed
lot
a
more
lot of things
space.
on
I
us.
love that they put up, look, shade. They actually put shade in the
The first
concept
thing I
art.
thought, Greg, was if there's shade up there, is that potentially an extended queue area? And if so, thank goodness they learned from Toy Story Land that you need to put shade on an extended queue in the
Yeah.
sun in Florida in the summer. So this is the concept art that we have now as of this morning, June 2025. There are a couple of areas I want to dig into, Greg, and
Yes.
those are these areas that I've highlighted are different. They've changed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them. Is that
We
cool?
did notice. I mean, look, as soon as I saw that this morning, it was like, oh, go run. Let's see if we can get this written up right away because
And you
look,
did.
they added in that whole back area, which is probably extended queue, or it could be a place to just get some fresh air and breathe and have the kids run around.
One of the things I noticed, and I'm going to point this out, and what we're looking at is an image on the left is the original construction, and then on the right-hand side is the new updated one, which has all of this space. A couple of things I noticed in addition to the, uh, um, in addition to the shade, it looks like there's a truck parked in front of the attraction.
Yeah.
Greg, please tell me it's an ice cream food truck. Please
You
tell me
know,
that's what this is gonna be, because all the ice cream cones that we saw in the original concept art, the monster-looking things, it
yeah.
doesn't look big enough, but I would love if that's what it is.
Right. And are you really going to park an ice cream place in front of the coaster?
I probably not.
Right.
But
But
you would
it
park
doesn't
a
look
merchandise. Think
again.
you know what?
You just
Down the
said we don't know what's going into Rizzo's yet.
We don't. We don't know what's going into Rizzo's. We don't know what's going into the Muppet Vision building, to answer your question, Barbara.
But
We
we know
don't
what
know that yet.
we do know some about it though.
So let's talk a little bit about it, because one of the things this could be, Greg, if you think Toy Story Land and sort of those merchandise carts they have,
Yeah.
it could easily be a merchandise cart that's sitting outside of Monsters with merchandise from the coaster. That's
What?
quite possible.
Disney selling merchandise?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I
Of
originally
course.
thought that this little thing sticking out of the back of Harryhausen's was a new addition, but that is in the original concept art.
Yes.
So there's something happening back there. I don't know what that is. But I love just the green space. If this is an extended queue and they put
Right.
shade over it, that's awesome. Thank you, Disney. All right.
Again, good job.
Good job. A couple of other things we noticed were different. Number one, the restroom facade lost its teeth.
I'm okay with this, Sam. I don't need to scare the kids going into the restroom. Listen, boys, you got to go potty in the monster's mouth.
So the monster there were teeth in the roof. Those are gone. It now just looks more industrial. I think the most interesting change here, Greg, is the fountain, which we noticed looked like Michael Wazowski's eyeball, and it was new. Now the fountain looks a lot like Miss Piggy without Miss Piggy. Let's
My
be honest.
gosh, how much would you pay to be in the park when that Miss Piggy fountain gets taken out by a crane and lifted up? Oh, I just
Well, they've
so
taken
want.
it out before. Remember our case of the missing piggy that you did
Yeah,
not
we
too
talked
long
about it
ago on the
on
show?
this show. We've talked about the case of
Yes.
missing Miss Piggy, but I would
Yes.
just like to be there. I would like to see her hog tied up and going up feet first into
Yeah,
the
we're
air.
never going to see that.
And then
Another
crashes
thing,
into or into Muppet Vision 3D, takes out Gonzo. They use her
yeah,
as a wrecking ball.
another thing that you can see in this picture as well, which I have in the next slide, there were cars parked in front of that Muppet Vision building,
Yeah.
which are gone now.
Yep.
And then lastly, the Muppet Vision Theater itself, which, by the way, Barbara, Greg and I had speculated that it could potentially become the home of some new version of Laugh Floor, which
Yeah,
would
that
allow
felt
Disney to move Laugh Floor out of Magic Kingdom so they can do their new Tomorrowland project.
now. I
Um,
agreed with you on that, Sam. We talked
but
about
now
that
I
a
don't
while
know.
ago. I don't think that anymore.
I don't either.
All the laugh floor marquees that were on top of Rizzo's are now removed from this
They're gone.
image.
Yes.
The theater used to be called Monstro. It is now called Glob
If that's what it is, GLOB.
or Globe.
Okay. Is it an acronym for something? Is it, who knows what we're looking at there? But the answer is we don't know what's coming into that theater. It's a big mystery. We don't know what's going into the theater. We don't know what's going into Rizzo's. We don't know what's going into the old Christmas store. All of
It
that is, we don't know.
stands for Get Low or Bounce.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mentioned before the cars parked in front of the theater are missing, and
Yeah.
also that the building or the little canopy that was in your pictures that you took at Muppet Vision that's
Right.
out front, that is now gone. No
Yeah.
longer there. They also removed the entranceway. There was an arch that sort of said Monsters Inc., and that's gone as well.
That is gone. The raw iron looking at the entrance. Yep.
Yeah, it's not there. They also changed the way that the floor looks. It looks like scales of a monster. The ground, sort of the rock work. A Sully-shaped ice cream sandwich. I'd be good with that. Sell it right out of that truck if that's what that is.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. We
Yeah,
got
so I look,
new concept art.
these are all artist renderings and all the way up until the point where Disney actually opens the land. All of this is set to change, and it's going
Absolutely.
to change again. It's nice
I
to see
love
that
that they
Disney
pushed it
put
back.
up the new stuff today. It's nice to
Yes.
see that Mike and Sully were there. Look, unfortunately, and you and I are massive Muppet fans.
Yep.
You have to rip the Band-Aid off. If you've already doing these changes, you've closed the attraction, get rid of it. Just get rid of everything you can right away and get it out of the people's perspective. You don't
Let's
want
not see
Muppet
the
Vision signs up. You don't want them to be able to see Miss Piggy. You don't want the bathroom signs
Yep.
up or Pizza Rizzo sign
get it
lighting
out of
up
there.
anymore. Get it out. Get it out as fast as you can. The only thing that they're going to do is they have promised that they're going to preserve everything they can inside of Muppet Vision 3D. We don't know what the future of that is going to be, but they are going to preserve it. So inside that area, they are going to take some extra time to make sure everything is accounted for and preserved properly. And Disney Archives is going to come in. Disney's going to do a good job with that. But the rest of it, get rid of it fast.
Yep, I am with you. We don't want the sorcerer's hat coming down slowly. We want to see it disappear.
No, I don't think
like
Disney
the dinosaur over in
a day and age where influencers and everybody's got a camera handy, you do not want the sorcerer's hat thing going on again.
No. But all of that said, we do know that the Muppets are moving. We saw on Instagram, Kermit the Frog reminded us all that they are moving into Sunset Boulevard to take over the Rock and Roller Coaster. And I can't wait to see this.
It's the mayhem, man.
Pre-show.
Bring the
it's
mayhem
the Electric
in.
Mayhem. Now, I will point out, and you and I talked about this originally, that movie poster that they're showing is the Electric Mayhem plus Piggy plus Kermit. And that's it. There are no other Muppets in that poster.
No,
now, does that mean that they won't be there? I don't know. But just be, kind of set the right expectation.
You know who I'm happy to see? Lips.
Of course
Lips
you are.
deserves to be in there.
Yeah. So Lips.
Yeah.
And at the end of Muppet Vision, and I should have put this picture in there, right? When you left Muppet Vision, there was a sign that the Electric Mayhem was looking for a new gig, and they got their new gig. But Lips was not in it. It was Clifford instead of Lips. And there was that weird couple of years where Lips left the band, but
it was a weird couple of years. It's the Muppets. There was a lot of couple of years that were weird there. Look, we also know it's possible that the Muppets may take over that whole courtyard.
I hope that they will.
We hope so. The other thing is look, we know Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After is not lasting there beyond. We don't know beyond 2 years. So take that with what a grain of salt.
Well, look, the villains happily ever after, as you and I had talked about, that's a setup for Villains Land, which is going to be coming to Magic Kingdom. And once
Yeah.
Villains Land opens, that's where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Now, Kermit did say that they would be coming to Sunset Boulevard in 2026.
Yep.
Nice.
Do you know when in 2026? Do you know what's happening in 2026, Sam? I do.
What's happening in 2026?
That would be, my friend, on October 1st, 2026, the 55th anniversary of Walt Disney World Resorts.
It's been 5 years since we did that 50.
It is literally, Sam, it's been 5 years,
man.
my friend. It's been a
Oh, my
long
goodness.
5 years.
Oh my goodness. All right,
Yep.
let's move on from the Muppets. Let's head to Magic Kingdom.
Magic
You had some
Kingdom.
images from this week. Tell me a little bit about what's going on inside the Emporium. When you shared these images, I thought, oh wow, there is a big emphasis in the redesigned Emporium on mobile order checkout.
Yeah, they want you to mobile order checkout. They've also put most of the registers all together in one spot towards the this is on the firehouse side, right behind the hair cuttery. So most of the checkouts are now over there. They're trying to move everything to make it easier for crowds to get in and out of the Emporium, especially at nighttime. Yeah. So look, the whole area is now open. There's now only one spot that is under construction anymore. That is now the center area of the Emporium. Yeah, there you go. So where you see the castle that's been there since the 50th anniversary is now, I mean, that's 5 years old too, man. Now that we think about it.
Well, I think it was there. It doesn't have its 50th anniversary decorations on it, but that's okay.
It's because it's still got the same 50th colors. And you could see the plaque that used to be there. But anyway, this is the last section that they're putting new flooring in. This is the last section to be done. They're removing some of the registers over there. So if you're in that center spot, that's all. Other than that, the Emporium is wide open again, and it's really easy to get in and out of there.
Very good. Very good. Also at the Magic Kingdom, characters. You are all about characters. Tell me about what's happening, because this is all part of Cool Kids Summer.
This is all part of
the
castle. And so if you are staying on site, if you're staying at one of the Disney resorts and you have early entrance to the theme parks, you have a chance of seeing what they said was, oh, during this hour, you're going to see way more characters. They weren't kidding, because you really go into Fantasyland, and I counted 16 characters were out in the morning. I walked in there, and I'm going to say thank you to friends of mine who brought me in, who were staying at All-Star.
Awesome.
I walked in and Mickey Mouse was getting off. He literally was on the carousel riding it by himself, Sam. And he walks right up to me and just gives me a hug. And I was a child again. I was just like,
that's pretty cool.
And then you walk over, Pluto's looking for his bone. Chip and Dale are running around. Tiana and Naveen were out. Rapunzel and Flynn were out. Elena of Avalor was out. Peter Pan and Wendy, Captain Hook and Smee, Tigger, Pooh. They were just all over the place in Fantasyland. It wasn't just one spot in Fantasyland. It was.
This is them. They're walking around. If you grab a picture, that's great, but there's no queue. This is characters.
Look, Chip and Dale were looking at the map, trying to figure out where to go. They were trying to open doors that they shouldn't be opening. Tigger was just walking around. Elena of Avalor, she was sitting in front of Princess Fairy Tale Hall, just being gracious with every little girl that walked by. I mean, this is absolutely amazing.
It's put it on the list. Awesome.
This is what, right? Okay. This is what Disney is supposed to be to kids, correct?
Yes.
This is what we've been sold for many years. Is like, you take your kids to Disney, you're going to have this magical experience. Well, that's right. You can again.
Yep, that's exactly right. I got to move us along because we got a lot of stuff to cover. The Hall of Presidents, the lobby opened. Now, we had talked before, and yes, Greg loves characters. You and I talked before that historically, when there was a new president elected, the Hall of Presidents would close at Inauguration Day, and it would reopen the following 4th of July. It was sort of like a thing that always happened, and then it didn't a couple of times. But are we expecting this to be open for the 4th of July?
We could see this open any day now.
Okay.
That's kind of where we are at right now. Yeah, we could see it. I think Saturday or Monday is my guess. I could be wrong, But yeah, I think you're going to see it open well in advance of July 4th.
Good, 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 good. The inside is open. You can go into the lobby. Is anything new? It looks like very similar. The Abraham Lincoln bust in front of Walt and the Walt Disney bust. Those things are all
So the only thing new in there is there's a picture of President Kennedy with his horse.
oh,
That famous image of his daughter and his horse.
very cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty interesting stuff that is going on in there.
Awesome. We'll report back when this thing opens.
We absolutely. Hey, real quick, do you remember who the only other president was that won a second term but not consecutively?
Yeah, that was Grover Cleveland.
That is, yes, it is. There you go.
See that?
But I love
Yeah,
that,
and it was a
and there's
long
nods
time
to
ago.
Lincoln. There's Disney statue. I mean, it's
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say this. Look, it is absolutely the best air conditioning at the Magic Kingdom.
Hey, Mayor, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And that is good to know, Greg. Best air condition.
Yeah.
Let's head over to Epcot if we can very quickly because some things happening at Test Track, and you just blogged about some new news that dropped. So tell me what's going on at Test Track.
Yeah. So, let's go through this quickly. Well, we were there one day. There was walls up. We showed up the next morning to go meet Dopey, which we're going to talk about in a second. As I turned around from Guardians at rope drop at 9 a.m., walked right by Test Track. No walls anymore. It has been replaced by shrubbery. Sam, that means only one thing. That means
We're getting close.
Testing is going to start. And there's a cast member watching one of the entrances. That means that testing is going to start even sooner than we thought. Not only that, but all the lighting was working. All of it has been installed. All the fans have been installed. All the queues and stanchions have been installed. Everything is set up. The Test Track Emporium has a new name. It is now called the Test Track Gear Shop. The signs for that are up. I was there. I heard testing nonstop. It was like every 15 seconds, a car would go by. There'd be a pause for a minute.
I missed that sound of the cars zooming by in the distance.
Oh, it's kinetic. It is absolutely kinetic.
Yes.
So what happened today was we speculated that we would probably hear about cast members would probably get an email saying that they would be selected for cast member previews. We didn't hear about cast member previews yet, but what we have heard about is they have put out an email for people, families of 3 for commercial purposes. They are filming on Monday, the 16th.
Okay.
And you must be able to ride the attraction. So at the latest, we know that come Monday, guests are going to be boarding the cars and riding this attraction. So that means Disney Imagineers are probably starting tomorrow to ride this actual attraction.
Cool. That's awesome. Test Track's one step closer. It'll be here before
Sam, if we speculate out and we go a little further, that means in a 1 month's time, it'll actually open. So if you think about the 16th, let's go back to Tiana's. By the 2nd of June of 2024, cast members got their preview started. By June 28th, the ride was open. So we looked from 1 month from the time they did the commercial shoot to opening day.
Okay, that works for me. It's on the
July
way.
16th.
There has also been a shakeup at Epcot in the entertainment side of the house.
Oh, man.
You pointed out to me that, so Forces of Nature is no longer performing.
Yeah, they're gone. The big globe is gone.
The globe's gone, so who knows what's going to happen there. I noticed that they moved the Jameters, but they're still there.
They're just everywhere.
Interestingly, the Odyssey, which we wondered what was going to happen here, right? Because the Odyssey and Communicore Hall have been the things that change with every one of the festivals. But now that we're between Flower and Garden and Food and Wine, we're in that festival of no festivals. What's happening inside of the Odyssey? Well, I'm happy to say that it's opened. And Greg, you informed us that they've moved the piano player in there from the United Kingdom, right?
Yeah, the piano player and a ladder. So you get those two things. You get to climb the ladder. It's a new attraction. It's called the Odyssey Ladder.
I just noticed that in the picture there.
I did too. I didn't notice that before. Yes, Meredith, by the way, I think you're looking about Starlight and Test Track. And if that makes sense, because they would do the media for both of those at the same time.
And you might be able to throw Hall of Presidents in there, dude.
Maybe. I don't think you're going to hear about Hall of Presidents at all. They're just going to open it. Yeah. Then it comes to, so what they're doing is the Rose and Crown piano players are not playing the Rose and Crown this summer. They are playing the Odyssey Pavilion.
I'm fine with that. You know, they moved them to the garden in the United Kingdom during COVID, and that was fine. I think this is good too. Because are they serving food? Is there anything in there?
It's basic. It's like roasted nuts, a pretzel.
So you can get a beer in there, and you can get a Mickey pretzel, and you can listen to the. Okay, I got no problem with that.
Right, that's all it is.
All right, let's move on in Epcot. Let's move on to your annual pass holder meet and greet. Tell me about this, what it means. Mr. Fulton, congratulations, by the way. Second place, silver medal in the 100-meter dash, and third place, bronze in the 200-meter. Congratulations to you, my friend.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for him, man. Good for you, Fulton.
Tell me about Dopey.
Dopey is now meeting in the Dopey, it was announced that a special meet and greet was coming for WDW annual pass holders only, starting on the 9th. And so we went over there, and the speculation was it was either going to be Dopey or it was going to be Duffy. And a lot of people showed up thinking it was going to be Duffy. And I was like, you need to go to Fantasyland News and read my article, because I absolutely said it was going to be Dopey. And
well, you had an image of Dopey in as your feature image. Now, to make sure everybody's clear, this is the toy shop in Germany.
Yes, this is Der Teddy Bar, which is in the Germany Pavilion. Look, it's very simple. If there's a line to go in there, you can get your name on virtual queue. You get called back to go in. If there's no line, you just go right in. I got to meet Dopey 4 or 5 times that day and just kept on taking pictures. Now, you can see Dopey in these pictures. The lighting is not the greatest, Sam.
Okay.
So poor Dopey looks like he's wearing black lipstick in all of the images.
Yeah, I guess he kind of does because of the shadow. You're right.
Yeah, and it's bad. And so I felt bad for Dopey, who probably was listening to My Chemical Romance before he came out.
Nice. Yeah. All right, let's so Dopey's there. Is this going to be Dopey all summer? This is part of the VI pass holder days, not Cool
this goes till July 31st, my friend.
Okay, and we expect it to be Dopey the whole time, or do you think it's going to mix
Dopey the whole time, unless they magically change something and they're like, let's do another dwarf this week. No, you're looking at Dopey. Dopey took the summer off, man. He's over hanging out with people in Germany.
Yeah, well, Snow White's around the corner at her wishing well, and Dopey's inside. Makes sense, right? To me. No problem.
It's good. It's good. It's a fun. And it's great. They redid the whole room. They walled off part of Der Teddy Bear. So you just have this in their shots, and they have it decorated like the era in the cabin.
Sure. It looks great. Also at Epcot, character related, what is happening in Mexico? Because it looks like
some walls come down, some walls go up, my friend.
Exactly.
Welcome to Epcot.
So they moved them from Test Track to Mexico.
They're redoing the pavement in the Mexico Pavilion. They're adding more artwork on the ground. That's all this is. While this is happening, Donald Duck is not meeting and greeting over there.
And that's probably a short-term temporary thing while
it's
they
just
get
short. Yeah. I mean, you have enough other characters to go say hi to, and enough other entertainment. Speaking of other entertainment, by the way, and I meant to mention this, there's also 2 or 3 roaming entertainment happening in World Celebration, World Discovery.
Yes, tell me more about that.
Misinformation, which apparently has been at Epcot before, you were telling me about. I think it was you.
Misinformation, I'm not sure, but
it's like a robot and her handler are over there. Then they have jugglers. And so they just
where are the jugglers? Are they in France? Kind of like the
No. This is all World Celebration, World Discovery. All of it, and this is all for Cool Kids Summer, which, by the way, they have a ton of characters out at Cool Kids Summer at Epcot also.
Okay. Is that the morning only again? Like
morning
you have
only,
to be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Early park hours.
All
Special
right,
for people staying at the resorts, man. And good for them for doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You also shared an image of an official schedule for Goofycore Hall. That's
I
cool.
believe me, we needed one of these because you would sit there and you like. I think the cast members were like, "Can we put up a schedule, please?" Because that's all anybody comes in here and does. And yeah, it's
So
great.
7
Goofy comes
times a
out.
day.
Yep.
What is the schedule? It's when a show happens inside, or is that when Goofy shows up inside?
That is
Goofycore?
when, yeah, a Goofy or a show happens on inside, and it's like they'll do some games, they'll do some exercises, they'll do a freeze dance, or then Goofy will come out and dance with kids and hang out and do stuff, and yeah, so
And
that's
it looks
kind of
like
what it
it's
is.
timed sort of before and then after the Encanto celebration
Yep,
is what it
yep,
appears.
it all works
10:30,
together.
11:30, that way it all works together.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, that's
Next,
cool.
we got
Next, I
so
think
much,
next
man.
we do. So I'm actually skipping a few things in the background because I
One,
wanted to
two,
jump
skip a few.
just because we have so much to cover, and I wanted to
Yeah,
get to Disneyland because I was completely intrigued at Disneyland and what they announced as far as the official announcement is big changes are coming to Disney's California Adventure. We start with a heartfelt farewell to one of Pixar's original attractions, the Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue. But
yeah.
that's okay because Mike
You
and
lose
Sully are
one
going to Hollywood
Monsters Inc.
Studios.
One person lose one Monsters Inc. Another park gets Monsters Inc.
One park loses Tom Sawyer Island, another park keeps Tom Sawyer Island. So you can
Yeah.
kind of see what Disney's doing here and saying, okay,
Let's
it
separate the
makes
parks.
complete sense to me. Mike and Sully officially closes in early 2026 to make way for the new Avatar destination as part of Disneyland Resort expansion. So
I'm
we know
confused.
that we're getting, and what they announced was Avatar, which we knew was coming. Encanto, which we knew was coming, and a brand new entry plaza that we did not
By the way,
know was coming.
Coco,
Coco. I'm
not
sorry.
Encanto.
It's Coco. That is my fault. I apologize. I just get too excited.
I
So
know.
the
That's why
first
I'm
piece of
here.
concept
I'm here
art they
for you,
shared,
man. I got
the
you.
first piece of concept art they shared is this new entry plaza. And I want to talk to it and double click on this because this changes everything at Disneyland. And it's the beginning of their Disneyland Forward project that they've been talking about for so long.
Yeah.
Because what we see here, and clearly Space Mountain and the castle and Matterhorn are
Look how
not going
small
to
that
move.
castle is. Aw.
Oh, it is small. It's
Look how
cute.
cute.
You also have the Disneyland Railroad that's running through here, and you have two monorail tracks, Greg. One monorail track is running right towards the front of Disneyland, and there's the
Yep.
second one. Of course, we know that the monorails begin or end, as you want to say it, in Tomorrowland, and the other side is near the Disneyland Hotel.
Right.
Those things aren't going to move. And what we see is sort of a ramp that is coming across Harbor Boulevard over one of the monorail tracks and sort of down to an entranceway. So what I wanted to do is double click on this a bit because it all kind of comes together. If you look at a map of Disneyland, what we're talking about is the east entry, which is off of Harbor Boulevard, where you walk directly into security past a bunch of bus drop off. It's where the Anaheim Rapid Transit is, and lots of resort buses and things like that. In fact, the area in Google Maps looks like this, very nondescript with a small Disneyland sign. Greg, you've been here a bunch of times. You know exactly what this looks like.
Many pictures of that sign.
There's a picture of the sign from one of our recent trips there. You
Yeah.
can see Guardians in the background, the old Tower of Terror. This is also where you get the people selling you things when you leave, because as soon as you cross under this, you're on a public street. Which
Yeah,
changes part of that.
there's a lot that yeah. Moving
There's a
on.
lot that goes on there for sure. So what I wanted to do is double click and see where is this bridge coming from and how does this all tie together.
Yeah.
So stick with me for a second if you can. This is a map of the area from 2014.
Right.
The star that we're looking at is right where that entrance is. You can see all of the bus loops, the bus routes. This is the Disneyland Railway, or the monorail. The railroad's inside. There's another monorail track that comes, and you can see just where that monorail turns is right where that concept art is.
Yep.
Back in 2014, this hotel is called the Carousel Inn, and there's also a plot of land behind it, 1585 South Manchester Ave. Disney acquired both of those properties in 2015, so a year later. Since then, they also own 1515 just north of that, and the Pumbaa parking lot, which is north of that.
Yeah.
So all of this together is property that Disney has owned, and we've been waiting for an announcement on what they're going to do with it. So if I wipe across this like I had before, a time lapse to 2024, when this was taken, you can see that the area that was that Carousel Inn is now a parking lot. They've completely demolished that old hotel, and they've added parking lot where another building was. I'm not
Yep.
sure what that building was. All of this today is sort of cast member parking.
Yep.
That is going to become a huge parking garage, like 6,000 spaces, parking garage, multiple levels, huge. And if you then draw on top of that, that ramp that we just saw, the ramp is going to take you from that parking garage directly to the entrance of Disneyland without needing to cross Harbor Boulevard, because you're going to walk over it and over the monorail.
Yeah, which means cast member parking is going away and it's becoming guest parking.
Yes, and well, they'll move them somewhere and bust them in. But
Yeah.
all of these people coming off of this ramp are now walking directly down into Disneyland.
Yep.
There's some other interesting things that I noted here, but let me and thanks for playing along with me, Craig, by the way, because this is cool stuff. If we go back to what I just showed you, and we draw in here that ramp that's coming across, there's a couple of interesting things today. Today, this is all bus pickups and drop-offs and things along those lines.
Yeah.
This long, and you know this as much as anybody, this long row of green tent is security. And inside of security, there's a whole bunch of little ticket booths. And once you get in there, you go to the north and you're at Disney's California Adventure. You go to the north and you're in Disneyland. You go to the south and you're in California Adventure.
Yep.
It's pretty much that easy. If you look at the new artwork, this area that I've highlighted in blue, which is where bus loops are today, appears to be security.
Yes, they need to do something about adding more lanes and getting people out.
So this old spot is completely gone. It's not security anymore. They've moved it. So if we go back to the concept art very quickly, you can tell that as you're walking down the path or you're walking in from the street, there's what appears to be a big area, which is probably a ticket counter. They've moved all that. There are tents behind this thing. And there's no security check up near Disneyland.
Right.
So they've moved all of it, which, Greg, means if you're in that parking lot, I'm going to guess that somewhere near the parking lot or here is a security check, because these people are just walking right down to the
you're looking
Disneyland.
at the parking lot. You're looking at a security check to get into that ramp.
And that means you just walk right in all the way down in the Disneyland or DCA.
Hang left or right, depending on which part you're going to.
They're also getting a sign that is finally a big Disneyland sign with a D. Did they get it from Stamos is the question, Greg, right? Because everyone knows the original Disneyland D is the John Stamos sign.
That's what happened. That's great.
But it's an awesome sign, and it finally gets to do, which leads to Avatar. Avatar's coming to Disneyland. Where is this going? I went back to Google Maps, of course. And here's Google Maps with the star of what we were talking about up in the top right, the ramp that we were talking about, and also where inside of DCA, this is, sorry about that. This is where Mike and Sully to the Rescue is inside of the back lot. Now, also in that area is Stage 17, which, Greg, a big building. And the last time I was in it, it was it was Avengers merchandise. Right. I don't know what it was last time you were in it. Today, it is nothing. It just shows up on the Disney map as Stage 17. On the right-hand side is Stage 12. The last time I was in there, it was Flynn's Arcade, a temporary spot for Tron.
Legacy, yeah.
Nothing today. Yep. There is a backlot stage on the other side of the monorail. That backlot stage is an outdoor performance venue that they use for lots of things.
Oh, that stage was doing Mickey Clubhouse Jr. and stuff.
Well, no, that's inside this building a little further south.
Oh, no. It
This
was
isn't.
no, when we were there, it was doing the Disney Junior with Super Kitties and stuff.
Okay. Well, last time I was there, it was the Celebrate Soulfully performers were there in the evening.
Ah,
All right. Then you also have a small lounge and catering. The catering's a food truck. There's a little lounge, and then also the Hyperion Theater. I'm not sure what's going to happen to the Hyperion Theater, so I'm going to keep it out of what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But when you
And then the red
draw,
trolley used to go down there.
the Red Charlie used to go there, but it's been gone for a while now,
Yeah.
right? So the red line that I've drawn is the outside area of that concept art that we saw. It's kind of where the wall was, which means when you close Mike and Sully, you now have a whole lot of land where Avatar's going to go.
Yep.
Now, what I don't know, Greg, is if the Hyperion Theater is in the mix or not. That is nothing today. It was Frozen. It was Rogers the Musical. It was Aladdin for years.
It's good space, but it hasn't been used. I think it was Aladdin. Yeah.
It was a lot of things.
Because right next to it, you start getting into Avengers.
Right, because this shadow here is from the Tower of Terror.
So you're going to probably not want to have some odd thing in between Avatar, and you don't want an odd thing out with your Avengers and then your Avatar Pandora.
Yes. So what you can see is how the dominoes have fallen.
Yeah.
When you close Mike and Sully, well, when you open Monsters Inc. and Disney World, you close Mike and Sully to the Rescue, which, by the way, was a makeshift replacement for Superstar Limo. And there's a huge backstory around that and how it wasn't good. In fact, Superstar Limo was the only attraction in Disney history that the ratings for the park went up after it was closed. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Dude,
that's how
and
bad.
Nothing for nothing. You and I think the last time I rode it was you and I had rode Mike and Sully, and I hate that ride.
It's for what it was and what it replaced. It's okay, but now it's fine. It's gone.
Bye. Yeah.
Area.
Look, by the time we get out there again, it's closed.
It's closed, and I can't wait to see this brand new thing that's coming for the entranceway. But the entranceway and Avatar are tied together. This is what a park map looks like today in that area, Greg.
Yeah.
You have Mike and Sully to Rescue, just stage 17 with nothing inside of it.
Dude,
stage 21 with nothing.
Are you telling me we're losing another Earful Tower?
It wasn't an Earful Tower, but it is the Hollywood backlot. That's what this area originally was.
Know. It's gone.
All of this is going to become this, which is Avatar Land.
Yeah.
World of Water. Now, they don't have a name for it yet, right? No name.
We do know it's going to be based off of the Way of Water and Fire and Ash, and I can't wait to see what they're going to come up with. James Cameron was here recently at Disney World checking on things. The Imagineers have been here checking on things, so good luck.
So my question is, where's the monorail going to go, dude? Because the monorail's cutting right through the middle of this thing. We're going to have a tunnel for the monorail that goes into Avatar?
Yeah, that's a good.
That's my only thing when I look at this. What's not going to move is the monorail. So how are they going to incorporate the monorail into
that? Monorail is moving. That is not going moving through Avatar. That monorail, they will.
It's going to be in a tunnel.
James Cameron will move that monorail.
I don't think that happens. Anyway,
okay.
The other big piece of expansion is the new Coco ride, which we heard about. Coco.
Yep. Backstage
area is where it's going today. The only thing that we can see is we know that it's in the Paradise Garden area of the park, and we can see the Incredicoaster in the background behind it. So based on some map work, if this in the top here is the Paradise Garden area, this is the Incredicoaster. Yeah. The only place that this thing could really go is right next to it in what is backstage area today. That would give you the view that we've seen with the coaster behind it a little bit, which means in the next few years,
you can actually move it south a little bit and take up that parade staging area.
Absolutely. It's back here somewhere.
I think backstage. What you're doing is, you have an entrance for the attraction right over there, and then the show building is backstage, and you'll never notice it.
Just like they did for Ratatouille.
Yep.
You got this front, you're going into it. Who knows what
Yep.
we're going to see inside there? And you get in a queue, and the queue takes you way back, and you're nowhere near any
Look,
of it.
there's no better place than Anaheim to build the Coco attraction.
Agree. So you have California Adventure, you have some big construction in the lower left, and a whole bunch of construction going on up on the top. Lots of stuff happening.
Lots of stuff happening.
For sure.
All right.
What time is it? It's exactly. We had so much more to talk about. You want to do popcorn buckets real quick?
We can do popcorn buckets. I don't care. What do we want to do?
Look, you got. So, what do you guys think? Is that cool? Did I waste my time? I just love to dig into
I love
details. But anyway,
tons of stuff. Tons of stuff.
All right, popcorn buckets. Tell me what's going on, because there's a lot.
Superman is coming, man, and look, did we talk Avengers last week with how great the Avengers popcorn buckets were? I'm sorry.
Yes, we did. The biggest one ever, the huge popcorn bucket.
Superman has come back down to earth a little bit with the popcorn buckets. There's nothing crazy going on here. AMC, Regal, Cinemark have all released their Superman popcorns. Some of them are great, man. Like Crypto, the super dog, has his own popcorn bucket. Two of them, actually. One's the dog bowl. One is Crypto holding a bag of popcorn. Like, that is awesome. Like, I can't wait to see these. We don't know prices yet, but they're all due out July 10th or 11th. That's just some of the popcorn bucket news. How to Train Your Dragon came out tomorrow. Lots of popcorn buckets to go along with that. We've talked about Disney. I got the Epic one, which if you look right behind me, there's the new Epic popcorn bucket, which I purchased. Nice. Yeah, look at that little guy.
You were talking about that. Yeah. I like it.
So, I mean, that's popcorn bucket. What else do we got?
We're gonna do a couple of we're gonna do a really quick Universal minute and a half, but you only have a minute and a half. So give us the very high level on this. We're gonna get.
All right, let's go. Wicked, Elphaba, and Glinda are returning to Universal. The Wicked experience at Universal Studios. I don't have the date in front of me. I think it's the 30th, okay. June 30th. Elphaba and Glinda are going to be meet and greet characters at the Wicked Experience inside Universal Studios. You need a ticket for Universal Studios to go inside the park to get to the Wicked Experience. That's the main thing. That's all part of their summer at Universal. Next.
Super cool.
Megan 2.0. Universal, miss me? We did until yesterday when her horde showed up again, my friend. And out of nowhere, they just started dancing down the street, and these performers did such a good job. It's so cool because we haven't seen them in Universal since 2023 as part of Halloween Horror Nights. Oh. So for them to be appearing in the middle of summer in some random June day, this goes till June 29th, I think it is. And they are performing daily look, when you ask people where and when, they're going to say they have no clue and they don't know where. It can happen anywhere, and it could happen anywhere. But for right now, it's in front of Horror Makeup Show, Mel's Diner, and it starts at 10:30 a.m.
Very cool. Love it. Popcorn buckets.
Popcorn buckets. More popcorn buckets. Mario Kart has made it outside of Epic Universe and outside of Hollywood, Universal Hollywood. This is the first time. This is supposed to be an Epic exclusive or a Hollywood. Wherever Super Nintendo lands are, this was supposed to be an exclusive. Well, they opened a Super Nintendo Land store in City Walk. So now the exclusive merchandise is actually being sold in City Walk at Universal.
Well, it's exclusive to the Nintendo store in City Walk. So, okay.
Yes. So That's how they get around with that. Burning Blade Tavern. Can I just say, Sam, this could be one of the coolest things I've ever witnessed inside of a theme park.
Okay.
Imagine, if you will, you will get caught up in a mob frenzy of your pitchforks and torches, and you want to go burn Frankenstein's monster. What would you do, Sam? You would go get a group of people, find some pitchforks and some torches, and go burn the house down. And that's what you get to do. What's really cool, Sam, is if you are there at nighttime, you can follow the lights. Okay. So it starts back in the village. All of a sudden, the lights and the trees will start glowing orange, and they will flicker like flames, and it'll move like a mob is moving through the land all the way up to the Burning
Oh.
Blade Tavern and then light it up. So it looks like the mob is walking through the park. It's brilliant. It's ingenious, epic. Again, another amazing thing. I took Holly there for the first time. Sam, what place do you think she loved the most? Of course, Monsters Unchained. She asked to go onto Frankenstein, the ride at Darkmoor. She asked to go on it 3 or 4 times, and we did, and she loved it, and I'm happy that she loved that part of it.
Awesome. We're gonna
Muppets. Are we at Muppets? Where are we at?
we are at Muppets. We're at Muppets because it's that time. That was your minute and a half for Universal. We got some stuff you can cover next time. We are at week number 42 of 70 for the Muppet Magnets.
Another big Muppet, man. Dog Lion.
Yeah, that's a lot of big Muppets that we've had here.
It's yeah. I mean, look, we are starting to wind down. I got to go get him. I've not gotten him yet. I have to say, I'm a
You have
little
Andy and
behind.
Randy from last week?
Yeah. I got to get pictures of them though.
All right. So that's
It's been a long week, man. I have been in the park, Sam, for 13 days in a row. I need it.
I believe you. And look, happy Father's Day to you. To all the fathers out there, including mine, who may be watching a replay. So that's what we got this weekend. Happy Father's Day. See what's happening in the parks for Father's Day. Any big plans?
That's why, Sam, right there. That's why you keep me in check. You're like, I just don't want my parents watch this. I don't need you going off on some random tangent. Like, show some respect. Like, all right, I'll show some respect. So anyway, Sam, happy Father's Day to you, my friend, and to all the other fathers out there. As always, you can get Sam at samsdisneydiary.com, Sam's Disney Daily on Instagram. You can also hopefully are watching here on Sam's Disney Diary on YouTube. You can find me at Fantasyland News on Instagram at Fantasyland News Blog. And obviously, if you're watching here, thank you so much on YouTube. Other than that, Sam, as I always say, end of line.
Congaloosh. See you next week, June the 18th, 2025, with more from Walt Disney World and Disney Parks. Disneyland. I love that stuff that's going on. Come